I met a gypsy.
Dude, that's so good. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So that 1 hour podcast with Trav that you did, so that was like the longest you'd sat down and actually spoke to him ever.
Yeah, that was the longest, and I'm glad we did that because we actually formed, I think, more of a respectful bond, you know, because I always respected him out of his writing skill once I got past the anger part of him winning every event no matter what. Even if he crashed, he still would win, you know? Like the night I did the 360 before him at LA Coliseum, I did the 360, one of the gnarliest tricks ever in freestyle motocross for the first time at the LA Coliseum, same place I won the Supercross. And did it before him in his run, and he goes out and does it in his run because he had to kind of once because I already kind of laid down that level, and he went out and did it and crashes trying it, and then he's like time out, and I'm like, man, that's bullshit. And anyway, they give him a timeout and let him do it again, and he lands it the next time, which of course, you know, and I'm like, I was so mad, but then again, I'm like, you know what? It's not about the gold medal, dude, that night. It was just about me doing this trick and doing it before he did finally. I finally, like, one-upped him out of our whole career of him always one-upping me, and I was like, I finally got him that night. So that he knows. He knows. So, yeah.
Dude, that 360 that you did first was so clean, dude. So clean.
Yeah, and, like, going to that event, I didn't plan on doing it. I knew I had it if I did it in my foam pit before I came to X Games. I didn't ever land it on dirt, but I knew I kind of had that if I had to try something. But, you know, and I was there. I'm like, dude, the dirt's there's hard packed dirt. I was like, man, this is going to hurt. But, you know, you have medics, you have the cameras there. It's in the energy of the crowd. That night there was like 50,000 people. It's probably the most packed freestyle event ever. And I just remember coming around to the end of my run. I'm like, dude, I'm going for it. I don't even care. Like, I just wanted to be the guy that bad. I was like, I want to be the top of the level of freestyle motocross right now. And I went and I remember carving that ramp, and I was in the air, and I'm like, this is so gnarly. I was like so flat in the air, and I was coming around. I'm like, dude, I'm going to miss the landing. And next thing you know, I 50-50 the landing off the edge. And because I did that, because I did under-rotate it, and if I would have landed on the top, I would have done what Travis did, basically under-rotated and flew off the back. And luckily, I 50-50'd the landing, and it was real soft, and I was able to slide down the landing and kind of this 50-50 and saved it. And it was just like an iconic moment. Of the top 3 moments in my life, or in my career, that was definitely one of the top 3 moments in my career for sure.
Yeah, man, I still remember that, like watching that as a kid on ESPN. I think we had to go to our friend's house who had ESPN, you know, to watch it. And I remember that just being so heavy. And then, you know, but you don't know, like when you're watching it, and I was pretty young at the time, you don't realize how heavy that is. Like what the era of freestyle, and I think that's why it got so big when you guys were doing it, is because like it was so heavy. Like talk about the Wild Wild West, like freestyle was the Wild Wild West in your era. Like people were getting really hurt, and there wasn't the safety, there wasn't the technology, and it was just straight nuts. And like wanting to make a better life for yourself, you know? Like people do crazy shit to have a better life for themselves.
For sure. And we didn't really have foam pits back then. You know, Travis was the first one to kind of get a foam pit going. So we were learning, like I learned to backflip on dirt. I didn't have a foam pit. I just broke a lot of bones learning how to backflip a dirt bike. I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it to keep on going in the sport. You know, like you think of Tommy Clowers, Clifford Adamte, the list goes on of guys who didn't do it. They didn't flip, so they were done. Their freestyle career was done. I didn't want to be done. I was ready to take those chances. The cool thing about freestyle when we were doing it, the tricks happened that night. You didn't have them mastered before you came. You just thought, okay, I want to do this trick. I'm going to try it for the first time in front of this crowd because the cameras, the hype, the energy, and the ambulances are here. So that's why you would try it. And that's why you'd see so much that excitement. Like the excitement when you see like, say Shimoda or Jet Lawrence, that their true emotion after a race that is so it's so engaging that you're just like, you want to be a part of that. And that's the energy we had when we did freestyle, because we had that true emotion of like, man, I'm not hurt. Like, I didn't break my bones. I landed it. Like, that was how much energy there was. And I think that's why it was so cool.
Yeah, that does make so much sense. Like, you're so in the moment, like the thing is happening. We're watching you experience it for the first time.
For sure. And that's very, those moments are rare to catch an athlete. That's why I always watch the championship ceremonies. Like, I'm not a big football guy. I like things with motors. But like when the Super Bowl happens and the championship celebration after, I always have my kids watch it, and I like to watch it because you like to see that emotion of people that put in a lot of work, and they're getting recognized for their work, and you see raw emotion, and you don't get to see that all the time, like true raw emotion, and that's very I don't know, it's just so I don't know. It's so attractive, you know. Like, you want to be a part of that, and that's what I see in sport at time, and that's what draws people to sport. You know, it just does. Like UFC, man. There's so much emotion there when people win. Like, I just, that's why I love certain sports. You know.
Nah, yeah, dude, 100%, man. Like, that. I mean, me and my brother say, like, we joke all the time, like, how good sport. Like, we'll just be watching, like, we might be watching some completely different stuff, but we'll text each other, like, get around, how good sport. And it's just so, like, that human emotion that you're seeing, like, in the moment, it's just so insanely real. And, you know, a lot of life is kind of watered down at this point. You know, you're like kind of in a groove, in a routine, very structured, very living within a box, and then, you know, to actually visibly see that shit is, I think that's why it's so captivating.
Yeah, it is. And that's, you know, nowadays, I think freestyle motocross, like, the tricks have gotten so gnarly, but they've gotten so routine that that's, I don't think the sport has kind of hit its peak, you know, years ago. And I don't know, I feel like that's something. Then now with social media, you have every day, you're like, what's going to get the views today? Like, you know, we've been already seeing it. What's left, man? Like, what is left? Literally, like, what? I mean, you've seen everything now. It's like everything. What actually makes you stop and look nowadays? You know, I don't know. The bar's set so high. It's hard.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.